There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
Problem is, that's not what happened. And we should know, CBS News accompanied the First Lady and daughter Chelsea on that Bosnia trip. That's Senator Clinton talking to me on the military flight into Tuzla. And these are the pictures we recorded of the greeting ceremony when the plane landed. Compare that to Senator Clinton's account.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Thank you. There was no sniper fire either when Senator Clinton visited 2 Army outposts where she posed for photos, and no sniper fire back at the base. Clinton aides today acknowledged her arrival in Bosnia was not quite as dramatic as Clinton put it.
Has someone coerced you into being here?
Do you count Harvey Weinstein as a coercer? He will coerce you to do it.
And so Harvey said, I tell you what, go on.
More than 80 women have made allegations against Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct. Prosecutors will attempt to prove a pattern of predatory behavior, so expect to hear about allegations from some of Hollywood's biggest celebrities like Charlize Theron, Rosie Perez, and Selma Hayek. 6 women are expected to testify, including Sopranos actress Annabella Sciorra, who claims Weinstein raped her in her Manhattan apartment in the early 90s.
Courtney Love has also spoken out. A video of a rock star in 2005 came out showing the star warning young women in Hollywood about the movie Titan.
Harvey Weinstein would like to do a private party in the Four Seasons downtown.
Love tweeted Saturday saying, although I wasn't one of the victims, I was eternally banned by CAA for speaking out against Harvey Weinstein. The Producers Guild will also meet later today to decide whether or not to expel Weinstein's membership.
I've known him through politics, as many Democrats have. He's been a supporter.
Yeah.
He's been a funder, and for all of us.
So why are you for Hillary instead of Bernie?
Well, my daughter, Emma, has really crystallized it over the last 4 weeks. She said to me that when Bernie said Hillary wasn't qualified, they took that a little sexist, just like, how could the Secretary of State, 103 countries that she visited, 2-time senator,
right.
First Lady, civil rights lawyer, not be qualified?
Let me say something that may not be great politics, but I think the Secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
Bernie's continuous and sometimes unhinged assault on Hillary Clinton has, I think, gotten a lot of women to react in the opposite manner that Bernie saw it, that they are looking at him now saying, and now they're going back to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, on the women's issue.
There has to be a recognition that we must stand against this kind of, action that is so sexist and misogynistic.
And this depends upon women coming forward and having the courage to come forward.
Right.
And yet in your book, the 3 women brought onto stage by Trump attacking your husband, and you kind of dismissed them. Was that the right thing to do? Are you sure about that?
Well, yes, because that had all been litigated.
There was just an AP article posted that found how Senator Obama's support among hardworking Americans, white Americans, is weakening again, and how the whites in both states who had not completed college were supporting me.
To speak of the nation in such slice and dice, tear them up kind of way, that's not how you keep everybody together. A great future leader says, this is our nation, we are one nation, we will go forward together on these principles and on these programs.
But you know as I do, you divide the nation and you hope to get the larger slice.
Today, I'm endorsing Senator Bernie Sanders to be our next president and commander-in-chief of the United States.
So, strong words, sabotage. You really believe that the DNC sabotaged the candidacy of Bernie Sanders?
They worked in collusion with media, in collusion between the DNC and Hillary's campaign.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton pushes her own Russia conspiracy theory.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary. and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's a favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
The Democrat Party has been infiltrated.
And she just came out against a sitting U.S. Congresswoman, a decorated war veteran, and somebody who's running for the nomination of our party with just a complete smear and no facts. Let's not forget, Tulsi Gabbard was picked out by the Democratic Party establishment and put at the top of the DNC. They thought she was going to be their golden girl.
We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
We have to bring them
apologize for mass incarceration.
heel. Okay, we'll talk I'm about not it. a super predator, Hillary Clinton. Okay, fine, we'll talk about it. You apologize to black people for mass incarceration.
There is a smear campaign going on, and people acting as if he's an Islamic Manchurian candidate. And I feel it's actually a substantial strength. But that connection to Indonesia and a billion Muslims on this earth, I think, is a real strength and had an awful lot of value in his foreign policy efforts. I've watched the blogs try to say that you can't trust him because he spent a little bit of time in a secular madrasa.
Why the hell would you bring that up unless you wanted to reinforce in voters' minds this guy is a Muslim? Osama Obama, get it?
Well, that's clearly what he wants to do. This is very
You think so? There's no question.
No question, mind. This is clever and Clintonian, a way to bring down Obama.
I think the remarks were very positive. I know Bob. He was being very complimentary of Senator Obama. He was making a point that Senator Obama makes himself all the time, that because of his upbringing and his heritage, he's, in his view, catch that line, very well suited to communicate with the rest of the world. And he has just said himself that he wants to have a particular outreach to the Islamic world. So I think Senator Kerry was being, very generous in what he said. But didn't Hillary dump on Obama a few days ago for playing up his Indonesian roots? So what's she up to here? Is she pushing how great he is for having been born in Indonesia, or what? Or simply reminding everybody about his background, his Islamic background?
This is fantasy land. We're talking about ending the war. My God, we're just starting a war right today. There was a vote in the Senate today. Joe Lieberman, who authored the Iraq resolution, has authored another resolution, and it is essentially a fig leaf to let George Bush go to war with Iran. And I want to congratulate Biden for voting against it, Dodd for voting against it, and I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it. You're not going to get another shot at this, because what's happened, if this war ensues, we invade, and they're looking for an excuse to do it. And Obama was not even there to vote.
Senator Clinton, I want to give you a chance to respond.
A lot of people were mystified or couldn't fathom your vote on the Kyle Lieberman amendment that urged naming the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps a terrorist organization, since it's part of their governmental military structure, no matter what we might think of that government. There was one constitutional scholar on our program who wondered if the vote by itself might not constitute a kind of declaration or even act of war. Do you think it's one of those?
Absolutely not. And I think people have either misunderstood or decided to misrepresent the meaning of that vote.
We turn now to the question of Hillary Clinton and maybe an impending selection to be Secretary of State.
She's the woman who played the race card on him in the election several times. She's the woman who many of us voted not to have to worry about anymore. But if Barack Obama does this to himself, he'll never have a minute's peace in foreign policy, and neither will we, and every lobbyist and foreign policy interest group from China to Indonesia will be laughing, because they've got exactly the person they know listens to them.
Colonel Gaddafi's campaign of violence against his own people must stop.
We are the ones preventing Al-Qaeda from taking control, he said. They would drag the whole region into chaos.
We came, we saw, he died. Did
did it have anything to do with your visit? No, I'm sure it did.
Since the downfall of Libya's longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi 4 years ago, the country's descended into a chaotic civil war. And in the lawlessness, ISIS has gained a foothold in towns and cities, including Sirte, Gaddafi's former hometown. ISIS announced its arrival in Libya with trademark brutality. 2 videos showing the beheadings of Christians. And from Libya's Mediterranean coast, ISIS vowed it would one day conquer Europe.
I have had the opportunity to run a big agency. I was very flattered when Henry Kissinger said I ran the State Department better than anybody had run it in a long time.
Well, Henry Kissinger, whose real name is Heinz Kissinger, after all, he's probably the most prominent unindicted war criminal roaming around today. It's just kind of surreal with the coup attempt in Ecuador that this looks like it's hearkening back to Kissinger's policies in Latin America, which saw the overthrow and murder of Salvador Allende in Chile, the Kissinger's prompting of the creation of Operation Condor and Plan Mercurio, which saw people being disappeared and kidnapped from various Latin American countries, leftist activists, and now we have Hillary Clinton praising Kissinger to the nines.
If Iraq is to have weapons of mass destruction today, Iraq would have needed to reconstitute its production capability. And the fact that no credible, factually based information has been brought forward to substantiate allegations of Iraq's continued possession or attempts to reacquire weapons of mass destruction today means that we have to look very carefully at these allegations. We cannot go to war based upon rumor.
In the 4 years since the inspectors left, intelligence reports show that Saddam Hussein has worked to rebuild his chemical and biological weapons stock, his missile delivery capability, and his nuclear program. He has also given aid, comfort, and sanctuary to terrorists, including al-Qaeda members. President Bush's speech in Cincinnati and the changes in policy that have come forth from the administration since they first began broaching this issue some weeks ago have made my vote easier. I will take the president at his word that he will try hard to pass a UN resolution and will seek to avoid war if at all possible.
I am concerned about the problems of so-called unintended consequences. Who will govern Iraq when Saddam Hussein is removed? And what role will the U.S. play in an ensuing civil war that could develop in that country? Will moderate governments in the region who have large Islamic fundamentalist populations be overthrown and replaced by extremists? Will the bloody conflict between Israel and the Palestinian Authority be exacerbated? And these are just a few of the questions that remain unanswered.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton unplugged and unleashing. In a new documentary, she opens up about it all, including Bernie Sanders. He was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done.
On a good day, my wife likes me, so let's clear the air on that one. Secretary Clinton is entitled to her point of view.
Why do you think the secretary is still talking about 2016?
That is a good question. Ask him.
Clinton's comments come just a week after Sanders faced off with Elizabeth Warren over her claim Sanders told her a woman could not win in 2020. Clinton was asked about that too, saying, "It's part of a pattern. If it were a one-off, you might say, okay, fine. But he said I was unqualified."
When you have headlines from the Washington Post, quote, "Clinton questions whether Sanders is qualified to be president," my response is, well, if you want to question my qualifications, let me suggest this, that maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary.
What do you think of Cory Booker's? And you can comment on him and you feel free.
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying kick them in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political.
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't.
This state's always the social beginnings of so much of this country. Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have had occasion in my life to defend marriage, to stand up for marriage, to believe in the hard work and challenge of marriage.
The truth is, I loved him.
Jennifer Flowers, who was paid by the tabloid Star to tell her story involving Bill Clinton and to play her tapes of alleged Clinton phone conversations, has the look of every married woman's nightmare.
Yes, I was Bill Clinton's lover for 12 years. And for the past 2 years, I have lied to the press about our relationship to protect him. Sam, if somebody's willing to pay you $130,000 or $170,000 to say something, and you get your 15 minutes of fame, and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and you're some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have much of a resume to fall back on, and what's there she's lied about. You know, that's the daughter of Willie Horton, as far as I'm concerned.
Walmart's opposition to unions was led for decades by labor lawyer John Tate, who after his retirement proudly recalled at this company meeting in 2004 what he said was his favorite phrase.
Labor unions are nothing but blood-sucking parasites living off of the productive labor of people who work for a living.
Hillary Clinton was not present at this Walmart meeting, but Tate was relied on for years to keep unions out at Walmart, including during the 6 years from 1986 to 92, when Clinton was on the Walmart board and Tate was either an executive or a member of the board himself. But nowhere on the tapes of the 4 stockholder meetings Clinton attended during that time did we find any indication she spoke up to defend the role of America's labor unions. And another board member says, nor did she do so in any of the 24 smaller board meetings held during her service. Clinton has since denounced Walmart policies, but at this 1990 stockholders meeting, she seemed to be very much the loyal company woman.
As a shareholder and director of our company, I'm always proud of Walmart and what we do and the way we do it better than anybody else.
But 20 years later, critics say Walmart still lags in promoting women to top jobs. The company is now defending itself in a discrimination lawsuit brought by 1.5 million current and former female employees. As the wife of the then governor of Arkansas, Clinton also took a role in supporting a Buy America program to create American jobs.
One of the reasons we want to buy America is because we love America.
But as I reported at the time for NBC News in 1992, Walmart continued to get most of its products from overseas during its Buy America program, including from this factory in Bangladesh that used 11 and 12-year-old girls. Some of the foreign-made clothing was later found to be sold under Made in America signs in Walmart stores.
Made in Korea, made in China.
All at a time that Hillary Clinton served on the Walmart board.
No, I should answer the question that is on very many of your minds, and that is, how did a nice Republican girl from Park Ridge go wrong? I was a Goldwater girl. I mean, really, we used to wear, you know, little banners which said Goldwater girl.
You voted against the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Would you do so today?
I would have to vote against it. This isn't something, by the way, that you make a determination on from the standpoint of politics. I have no question that had I voted for that bill, I might have softened some of the Negro opposition to my candidacy.